Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today for this exciting interview between Scott Appleby, the former Vice President of Marketing for Travel Pro International, and the facilitator from our Worldwide College of Business, Dr. Gordon Haley. Throughout Scott's 8 years of tenure, he strengthened Travel Pro's partnerships with airlines and airports and airport retailers and helped shape products designed for the realities of airport operations and crew logistics. And without further ado, I will hand it off to you, Dr. Haley.
Benjamin, thank you and good morning. Scott, good morning to you and
Good morning.
very much appreciate your time. As Benjamin had mentioned, Scott worked for Travel Pro International. In fact, I just got an email from them about a new set of luggage this morning. And during his time at Travel Pro, Scott again was the VP of Marketing. So what we want to be able to do in our time this morning is to talk about what Scott did and as part of the broader aviation ecosystem. Because when we're talking about aviation and airline management, that does extend to aviation beyond the cockpit, and that's where what we're looking at this morning. So again, Scott, thank you so much for your time. And let's just get right into it, shall we? Travel Pro has been recognized as the brand used by airline crews for some time now. From your perspective, how do you see Travel Pro fitting into the broader aviation ecosystem?
That's a great question. Travel Pro's company founder was a 747 pilot by the name of Bob Plath. And back in 1987, he founded or invented roll-aboard wheeled luggage. And this revolutionary innovation dramatically changed the way the world traveled. And then prior to 1987 and Bob's invention, luggage was primarily hand carried and without wheels. Depending on the age of the audience, some people may have remembered those days and some may not. But during that time, from the airport and the airline perspective, wheeled luggage really allowed passengers to move more efficiently through all areas of the airport. Luggage check-in, security screening, movement to the gate. Prior to that, it was a really chaotic scene where people were hand carrying heavy luggage. There were a lot of back issues and all this other thing. So Bob's invention really revolutionized how people and luggage move through the airport system.
Yeah. Well, I must tell you that full disclosure, I can remember the days of actually carrying the luggage
me
through
too,
the hard-sided
unfortunately.
Samsonite bags. So for better or for worse, like I say, full disclosure, I can definitely remember those days. So when we're talking about Travel Pro positioning itself as a professional grade partner to airlines and flight crews, rather than simply a customer luggage brand, what exactly does that mean?
Well, with Bob's background as a pilot, he designed Travel Pro luggage to meet the demanding needs of flight crews and frequent travelers. And that's kind of what the Travel Pro brand stood for. And so he knew firsthand that crews really put their bags through the paces day in and day out. In other words, they were kind of the ultimate traveler and the most demanding traveler. So today, Travel Pro offers a very specific luggage collection that is only for flight crews and pilots, and it's designed to their specific needs and not available to consumers. However, with that flight crew DNA, Travel Pro also offers a wide range of durable consumer luggage collections for business and leisure travelers. So yes, consumers can buy durable luggage as well.
Very good. Thanks for that. When we're talking about developing things, especially in academia, and what we pride ourselves on here at Embry-Riddle is feedback from our customers, our stakeholders. Everything that we do, we try to predicate to make it more reasonable, more realistic, and most effective. When it comes to pilots and flight attendants, how did their feedback influence the evolution of Travel Pro's products?
Well, very, very directly, Travel Pro, when I was there, and I'm sure even to this day, conducted extensive research with flight crews and pilots to get their feedback before introducing a new luggage collection. So basically, what we would do, we would go to the various lounges where the flight crews and pilots were, and then conducted interviews with them to see what their feedback was, and then we incorporated that into the new luggage design. So by designing this higher quality luggage, Travel Pro makes life easier, for airline baggage operations as well. It doesn't break down during the various touch points in baggage handling, which improves the overall customer experience at the airport and with their experience with the airline.
Okay, great. When we're talking about aviation, obviously highly sensitive to disruption, weather issues, mechanical issues, possibly with the plane, labor events and security issues. And we all know some of the things that have happened even earlier this year with TSA and the like. So when we're talking about that, how does Travel Pro respond to major disruption, or how did Travel Pro respond to major disruptions during your tenure there?
Essentially, our response as a luggage brand was to provide a very extensive choice in the area of carry-on luggage. We were the leaders of carry-on luggage. And so we offered things like wheeled suitcases, rolling totes, backpacks, wheeled duffel bags to meet the travelers who are on a deadline. And carry-on luggage really provides the ultimate in travel flexibility, allowing the customer then to react to these uncertainties or disruptions. And so if a flight is changed or canceled, your carry-on luggage is always with you. So when you get off your flight, you just wheel and go, and you don't have to wait at the baggage carousel or be burdened by missing luggage or luggage that's not necessarily missing but is off-timed due to some of these delays that sometimes can occur.
Okay. Now, when we're talking about what we do at COB and worldwide in general, one of the issues or one of the things that we discuss and work on and learn and try to hone our skills in is leadership. What leadership lessons did you take away from working with a company like Travel Pro that's so closely tied to aviation?
During my 8 years at Travel Pro as the vice president of marketing, I really learned that the entire aviation industry is very complex and it's an interconnected system. What I mean by that is the airport, the airlines, the planes, the flight crews, the TSA, all the regulations, and of course, in our case, the luggage providers are all part of this system. And if one part of that system fails, the customer experience is negatively affected. So what we try to do from a luggage perspective is make sure that we weren't the cause of any of those problems in the system. For example, what could be very frustrating and ruin a trip for a customer is if a wheel falls off or a handle breaks, even if it's during baggage handling, because sometimes that can be very, very rough. But the customer doesn't care whether the baggage handler was reckless with their luggage when they have a broken wheel or a broken handle. And they expected their luggage to handle the worst of the worst abuse. And that's really why durable, high quality luggage is so important, particularly to the frequent traveler.
Okay. So, given the fact that aviation is a complex ecosystem, where a single failure can ruin a traveler's entire experience, what ethical responsibilities, as being a professional grade supplier, to ensure product durability, sustainability, rather than just selling frequent replacements. So what is the ethical responsibility?
We felt in our mission aligned with this was that our goal was to make travel easier for flight crews, business and leisure travelers, and to avoid disrupting the traveler with quality problems. As I mentioned earlier, things like broken handles, wheels, to name a couple. And so what we did is we invested in a state-of-the-art testing lab. So each luggage line was rigorously tested before it was introduced to the market. For example, wheels were tested for 30 miles. So they had to be able to go at least 30 miles in our test lab, or we wouldn't put them on the luggage. The other one was the pull-up handles. And so we tested those for 10,000 up and down cycles. In addition, we had product inspections at the point of manufacture and before shipping to the customer. So we wanted to make sure that what the customer received was what we intended in the design of the product. So we felt that was our obligation in the system. And of course, we backed that by very extensive warranty. On our high-end lines, we would offer a lifetime warranty that even covered baggage handler damage. So there was kind of like a no questions asked warranty to back up what we said, what we claimed the luggage would do.
Okay, thanks for that. Interesting. And so to kind of wrap up, which is always important to me, as I always tell my students, I always try to make things very real and 3D and real world to them. So again, thanks for your time this morning. So as we're wrapping up then, if you were advising students who are interested in entering into the aviation field today, especially those pursuing what we now have our new airport management degree, what skills or mindsets would you encourage them to develop?
That's a great question. I like this quote that I got from John Maxwell, the leadership trainer. It says, everything rises and falls on leadership. And leadership is something you can actually learn. It's not, a lot of people think leadership is innate, but you can learn that over the course of your career. Another key thing is provide solutions, not problems.
Yeah.
There are many people in working organizations today that are great at pointing out problems, but there are very few people who can actually solve them. The other thing I would tell someone coming out of college is volunteer for the tough assignments. You learn resiliency that way. And back to the leadership thing, leaders push boundaries, and that means things like making changes, retiring the old and inventing the new. And sometimes that can be very difficult because there's a lot of inertia within many organizations. But to be able to persist in that way, I feel is a very important attribute. And then last of all, the students who are learning a lot in the college right now, continue that learning on. You're not done learning. In fact, you're just beginning. And be a continuous learner. That allows you to get better and learn from every experience and every person. And I think those would be the things that I would recommend to the students.
I appreciate that. And I know during the time that you and I have known each other, just in our many conversations, I've learned a lot about how it works and how what you did. I never really gave much thought to the roller bag. Because again, even though I can remember before we actually had them, it's just something now, it's so commonplace, you don't give it a second thought. Well, Scott, once again, I do appreciate your time and want to make a quick PSA to any of my students. I do see one who are on the call. Remember that if you're in my Management 325 or Management 314 class, you will get credit for 1 week's discussion board for your attendance here this morning. So I hope for you Again, it has been practical, and for some of the things that we talk about in class, hopefully, again, this helps make it a little more 3D for you. Because again, what we're looking to do in the classroom is your student success academically. When we do things like this and we're joined by professionals like Scott, this has to do with career success. So hopefully this helps, again, balance and bring both things kind of to the fore. And with that, Benjamin, I shall open it up to see if we have any questions or any thoughts from you.
Excellent. I believe I'm all set on my end here. I do see that we have about 14 people on the call with us today. So if anyone would like to ask Scott any direct questions, I'd say now is the best time. All right, it doesn't appear that we have any questions coming through in the chat. So I just want to take a moment and thank you, Scott, for joining us today, and to you,
Thank you.
Dr. Haley, for facilitating this. And thank you all for your attendance.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thanks,
Have a wonderful rest of
everybody.
your day.
Bye now.